Hello and welcome to the Top Contractor School Podcast, where we are dedicated to helping you achieve extraordinary growth and success by supplying you with the tools, resources, and support necessary to not only build profitable businesses, but to create a lasting impact on your families, companies, and communities. My name's Eric Guy, Director of Learning and Development here at TCS. Joining me today is one of our wonderful members and a fellow Yinzer, Mr. Josh Tohey. He's the owner of Three Rivers General Contracting. Welcome.
Thank you.
You excited?
Really excited.
Yeah. How many podcasts is this for you?
This will be number 3 for
Number
me.
3. Yeah. So just a quick background, because your background's kind of neat because of when you actually got started and what happened right after you got started, right?
Yes.
So give us a background of how you got into the contracting, what you're doing, and how this all came to life.
Yeah. So a little bit of background on me. I've been in and around construction my entire life. My dad was a mason and bricklayer his whole career, and I worked for him for a little bit, mixing mortar and helping him out on the weekends, and then got into construction myself. Eventually ended up working for a hedge fund based out of Atlanta, and we were rehabbing single family homes all across the country. I was managing the Pittsburgh market.
Wow.
And there wasn't anything unique about it. It was the same cookie cutter in and out, one after another. And I really wanted to do something on my own, more on a unique basis, and serve clients, right, and do some cool projects. And so with that, I decided to start my own general contracting business. The crazy part about it, though, is
When did you start?
we started February 24th of 2020, and then
I had a good 3 weeks to get it.
shut everything down right after that.
That would have been horrible. Were you scared?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
terrified.
Terrified?
Because we haven't seen anything like that in our lifetimes, and wasn't expecting that for sure. But being brand new, all we could do was go up.
Yeah. Yeah. Was there like an initial spark that made you kind of step out and start the business? I mean, you've always kind of wanted to, but was there like a push?
The real push was, I did want to go do, unique projects and serve others instead of doing the same cookie cutter in and out project. But, I was doing all of that and putting all that effort in for someone else. Right. And, I was creating someone else's dream. Right. And I said, well, if I have this knowledge and I can genuinely serve others and do these projects, well, then why not, let's start creating my own dream, for myself, but for my family as well.
What do you think something most people don't see or understand about being an owner in this space?
It is, you are behind the scenes. What a lot of people don't see is every day, all hours of the day, you are problem solving, right? In any role, in any space in contracting, you are a constant problem solver, right? That's our jobs.
So the grind of kind of growing a business, we said, you said just a little bit ago, man, those early years, it had to be, it was terrifying for me, and I already had an established company. So I can't imagine just coming out, getting started. And then that would have been 3 weeks later is just the whole country shuts down. So, what were during COVID, what were the biggest hurdles, and then how have you grown since? What's been some of your hurdles, and how have you gotten over some of those?
Yeah. So during COVID, just getting started, we really had to pivot some of, how we were attracting some revenue to make sure that we had, quality sales to be able to support the business. Right. And being that I was involved with a hedge fund, we actually went and did a lot of work for them on the maintenance side of things, and we got involved with some other similar groups as well to be able to keep cash flow going as we went out, and we tried to drum up other revenue with other projects that we really wanted to do from a remodel and build perspective.
Yeah. What's been the toughest moment so far?
Toughest moment for me and our business was a couple years ago. It was early Q1 in January. We kind of had like the perfect storm of events occur where, we knew that every late Q4, early Q1 is really slow, historically speaking.
Generally, yep.
It's slow for us and for others. Things got a little tight from a cash perspective, and, because we had jobs that were lined up, but for various reasons, they all got pushed out, and they were totally out of our control. We couldn't do anything about it. And so it was really scary, right? And we didn't know what was going to really happen, and because at the end of the day, it's, you need cash flow to keep going. So, we decided to put some cash in the business to bridge that hurdle right there. But, whenever, say 4 or 5 at the time for us were rather large jobs, get pushed out and you don't have that revenue, it's kind of, oh, you better figure it out. That was scary.
Well, how do you stay motivated during those hard times? And I mean, it's up and down, and sometimes it's good. Like now, a lot of our contractors are doing really well, but it's so busy and so overwhelming. You have to still stay motivated because, sometimes you're tired, you're doing long days. How do you do that? Is there something, is it good or do you?
I think it's just looking at the long term, and I may say this a couple of times today, but it's long-term vision, and knowing that no matter what, business is hard, being an entrepreneur is hard. And if you know that you're going to run into hurdles and you can manage those hurdles effectively, but you can see the long-term goals and long-term visions, then, you can much more easily manage those short-term hurdles, right?
Yeah. What's one thing you wish you knew before you started?
One thing I wish I knew before I started was, I would say, how selective you need to be, and how important it is to select the clients that you work for.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I mean, I think that can, a lot of times, people in this business, they want to go after anything and everything, to do the job, but it's so very important that you pre-qualify the clients that you want to work for.
Yeah. Speaking of that, so you're starting to get into more of a niche for you, your specialty. What do you say that is now?
So right now, we are best serving our clients in the luxury remodel and build space. And so that's both residential and commercial, where we're building high-end luxury bathrooms, kitchens, whole floor, whole home remodels, as well as doing various build projects with additions, garage builds, right? And we're also doing small commercial tenant improvement work, where we're building out, say, an office or, a retail facility for a particular client.
I had another question for you with that. As far as, looking at your clients, when you sit down to kind of look at that, and obviously I think we all learn like what our ideal clients look like and things like that. What are you looking for in a client? Do you go in looking for certain things, or like when you're first meeting with them?
Kind of how we evaluate, internal employees. We're looking at their values, at their characteristics, and we really want to try to get a good grasp on, are they realistic and understanding with the type of project that they want to do, right? Because a lot of people will want to do a project, but they have unrealistic expectations. And so, the big three that we always communicate upfront with everyone are timeline, scope, and budget.
Right.
And if we can get all of those to align and we're realistic about that, then there's a pretty good opportunity that we can work together.
Yeah. And talking about, to clients, now let's kind of move over to your team and building your team, because you're getting bigger. You talk about values. You've built that team at Three Rivers. What's your approach to not just hiring people, but keeping good people, especially in construction?
I think a lot of times historically in construction related spaces, people haven't necessarily been treated like people, right? But I think we've taken, and we try to take, a really good approach at being real with others, and that we're all human. Take time to talk to your people and try to understand them, and create an open door for them, where they feel safe, bringing anything up to us should they choose, right? One thing I tell everyone is, I don't care how big the issue is, but I can't help you if we don't talk about it.
Yeah. Speaking of that and going a little bit deeper, what are some ways that you find or have found to create buy-in with your folks?
Creating buy-in involves, we talked about vision earlier too, and I think that it's important for not only us as leaders to have the vision, but for our people to understand what that vision looks like too. For example, right, if we have a carpenter on our team, that may aspire to be a project manager or something more down the road, right? If they can't see where we're going, then they're less likely to buy in, right? And so I think it's important to, for the entire team to understand, what that vision truly looks like, so that they have an idea of the direction that we're heading, therefore create better buy-in.
Yeah. Speaking of buy-in, hiring, keeping good people, what's your leadership philosophy?
I'm big on trust. I'm not a micromanager. I'm a believer that if I can teach you and show you what to do and give you the tools to do it, then I've made a decision that by bringing you onto the team, that I trust you to handle your day to day. Right. And that's how I've always approached it. But with that, there's accountability too, but I'm not a micromanager. I'm big on, hey, if I give you the tools to do the job, then I believe that you can do it.
What's something you've learned recently about managing people that changed the way you lead?
With trust, right? Trust but verify, and so, accountability with that too. We're as a startup, right? A lot of times it's go, but sometimes you need to take time to slow down in order to speed up, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so taking time to understand how the business is doing, how the projects are actually doing, and therefore creating accountability, through that with people, right? Because again, you can trust people all day long, but at the same time, if you don't have accountability, then things can get out of control, so trust but verify.
So I've got a question for you, and I'm always curious to ask this, like, of the other contractors in TCS that are doing what you do, like you're producing high end, like high quality work. How do you balance doing that and staying profitable?
A lot of it goes back to the foundation, or the plan, or the estimate and initial communication with the client and everyone involved. The biggest challenge that a lot of contractors face is not putting a solid plan or foundation together from the start, right? And setting those expectations up front, with the client and with the team that's executing the project. And so that is by far the most critical piece of everything that we do, and creating that solid plan and foundation, right? And being so detailed with it so that, you're not really missing anything. Right. But again, it's, you can have a solid plan, a solid foundation, solid estimate, solid scope of work. But if you don't have a solid execution plan, then that estimate's useless. So it goes hand in hand between the plan and the execution.
Yeah. So some of this is gonna dip right into my next question: is what's your approach to client experience and communication?
Our approach is that you can't over communicate. We do have scheduled communications with our clients on a weekly basis, but at the same time, our phones are always on, right? That can be a hindrance sometimes too, but it's it also creates comfort with the client knowing that if they've got a question, if there's an issue, they can pick up the phone, they can call, they can text us, and someone's going to answer or we'll call you back.
Reputation in the community, especially in a community like ours. I mean, how important is that to a business like yours?
It's critical. Yeah. Especially in a I'll say, the city of Pittsburgh, but it's a big town, right? And, the more that you get out and talk to others, everyone knows everyone.
Yeah.
It's crazy how that works out in Pittsburgh.
And here it's like, yeah.
But reputation is critical because everyone knows everyone, and it's important to do the right thing day in, day out.
Yeah. And you're doing that. I do believe that, what we've seen from you so far, you're standing out. But what would you say separates you from other contractors in the area?
Something that separates us. I mean, I think that, going back to not trying to do every job and being selective, I think we've done a pretty darn good job up front of selecting the clients that we choose to work for, right? And therefore creating quality experiences with those clients, right? And not overextending our teams, on the back end either.
Let's talk TCS for a little bit. All right.
Yeah.
How did you first get involved with Top Contractor School?
So it was in, the spring of last year.
Mm-hmm.
And, it was around the time of the home show here in Pittsburgh, which is in March. And, I was at the gym, one night, and usually whenever everyone goes to bed, that's my opportunity to go to the gym and get a little workout in, and so just procrastinating on the next workout. I'm sitting there scrolling through Facebook, and I see Brian's pretty face pop off, and started doing some research, and looked at his Facebook and his Instagram, and trying to get a better understanding of what TCS is all about, and I felt like it was a real opportunity to connect with others here locally that could help me out as an individual in our business too, right? So there are a lot of programs out there, whether it's training, coaching, whatever. But this one was unique because the people are here, they're local, right? And that's what really got me going.
Yeah, it's been exciting to watch you, especially because you're in the area too. So it's a little bit, obviously we're in the studio today. Like a lot of these we have to do, if we want a member to come on, we have to do it remotely. But if you could narrow it down, like what do you think's been your biggest takeaway or growth moment since joining TCS?
I think going to the retreat in St. Pete this January, I think was monumental, I think, for me, in a sense that it really kicked off the year. It was really motivational to be around others in the same space, having same or similar, issues, but, it's like a recharge, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, big recharge for sure.
I left there like on a rocket ship, like, let's just go do whatever you need to do, and just commit to it and go do it.
Yeah. You ready for the rapid fire questions?
was raised, I'm never going to do.
Okay. All right. All right, here we go. I got, let's see, got 6 of them here for you, Josh. Favorite piece of equipment or tool you own?
By far, my battery-powered DeWalt hedge trimmers.
Okay, edge trimmers.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't think you were going to say edge trimmers.
No, whatever you're doing yard work or whatever I'm doing yard work, I can buzz through bushes like no other, and it's great. It's fantastic.
All right, good. I'll have to check that out. First job you ever had?
I worked at a restaurant that was attached to a local ice rink that I grew up playing hockey at, and I was washing dishes in the kitchen.
Wow, dishwasher, man. All right, good. Most underrated skill in contracting?
Most underrated skill in contracting, being able to pick up the phone and call people back.
Yeah, cool. We could do a whole podcast just on that.
Yeah.
Book, podcast, or mentor who's had the biggest impact on you?
Someone that I've looked up to or that I've idoled through my whole entire life, and especially being, a hockey player since early on, and being local here, I've always loved watching and Mario Lemieux and what he's done for the city, for the Penguins, for the game, but also what he's done, personally too. I think genuinely, in my opinion, he's the best hockey player to ever play the game. We got to enjoy him here in Pittsburgh, but
yes,
I think he's the type of person that is genuinely doing the right thing for a lot of people day in and day out.
Yeah, good answer. I like that. One word to describe your leadership style.
My leadership style is trusting. I'll say.
Okay. And last one, finish the sentence. If you want to win in this business, you better.
If you want to win this business, you better have accountability for your subcontract partners, for your internal people, but you also gotta motivate, and hold them. Between motivation and accountability, you gotta have that day in and day out, because you can put plans together, whether it's for a scope or an execution plan, but if you're not holding your people accountable and you're not motivating them to be better, you will lose.
Good answer. Final thoughts. We're just going to wrap up here, but a couple more questions and we'll let you go, Josh. What's, especially since we're talking about goals this month in the inner circle, what's one goal you have for the next 12 months?
One goal for the next 12 months for me is to buy a new house. We're crammed where we're at, and we need a bigger space. So that's definitely top of the priority list.
All right. Principle or mindset that keeps you grounded no matter what's going on.
A mindset that keeps me grounded no matter what's going on. I think it's that we're all human. Stay humble, right? And treat others how you would want to be treated.
All right. And especially since you're in the Pittsburgh community, if people want to reach out to you, where can they find you?
So a few different places. They can go to our website, the number 3 riverscm.com. You can check us out there, as well as our Instagram page, Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok. You can Google us and find us on Google.
Yeah, and you've been out there a little bit more on social media.
Yeah. So you'll see our projects. You'll see my face, talking about some different things. So go ahead, check us out.
Final word of encouragement for contractors who are grinding towards the next level.
Grinding to the next level, man. You're, day in and day out, like I said in the beginning, we're all problem solvers. There's going to be issues. There's going to be hurdles. Create that long-term vision. Create some goals, because if you dwell on the short-term problems, you're not gonna be able to see the long-term vision, right? And so, if you're looking at the long-term vision, with your goals, those short-term problems become much more manageable.
All right. Good stuff. Thanks for coming in. Appreciate you sharing this today. That's a wrap for today, guys, on this episode of the TCS podcast. Until next time, Keep leading, keep growing, and keep winning. We'll see you next time.